Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. A reprieve and relief tonight in Kapuskasing as Cap Paper announces a deal is in the works that will allow it to keep the doors open. Plus, a report is coming to Sudbury City Council that has a plan to electrify the city's fleet.
Longer ranges, better quality, multiple manufacturers, lots of selection available.
Experts say it's possible even with a trade war right now with the U.S. And the first phase of a major roadwork project is wrapping up in North Bay.
We're very happy to get that one part of the project done.
We'll have an update from city officials on what's being done ahead of winter.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin tonight in the Temiskaming district, specifically Roosevelt Road between Temiskaming North and the Latchford area, where we are still waiting an update from the OPP after it used an emergency alert due to an armed and dangerous person in the vicinity. Now, that area is heavily wooded and rural and a large area for police to search. Highway 11 was closed between Marcon Avenue and Latchford and Highway 64 earlier tonight. Police urged people to avoid traveling there until further notice. Those outside were encouraged to seek shelter immediately, and residents were told to lock all doors and windows. Again, we are still waiting for an update from police, so those precautions are presumably still in place, and we'll update you as more information becomes available. Well, major news tonight for Kapuskasing and its surrounding communities. Both senior levels of government have agreed to a path forward providing near-term stability for Cap Paper while a long-term plan is finalized. The announcement coming from Cap Paper itself, along with the area's mayors. They say details will be shared once they are finalized. In the meantime, municipal leaders will be continuing to work on that plan to support modernization and long-term competitiveness. CTV News reached out to Mayor Plourde. In a statement, he writes, residents, employees, and local businesses have shown real resolve. We appreciate the constructive approach from our provincial and federal partners. We'll keep working together to secure a durable long-term future. A rally this week saw hundreds of people gather in the middle of town, calling on both the federal and provincial governments to act. Close to 300 people had been given temporary layoff notices. Nearby mills were also expected to idle. Again, we are still waiting for those details, but it looks like those plans are likely going to change. Those layoff plans, that is. Martindale Road has reopened in Sudbury tonight between Gino and Gregg Streets. This was the scene earlier this evening after an e-bike and a motor vehicle collided. 2 people have been taken to hospital and their conditions are not known at this time. CTV News has reached out to the Sudbury Police for more details and will continue to update you on this as well as it develops. Provincial police in the Timmins area are looking for witnesses after a fatal crash on Highway 101 Monday. 2 vehicles collided on the road in Whitney Township in Porcupine around 7:30 in the morning, September 29th. A 69-year-old Iroquois Falls man was transported to hospital where he later died. Still in Timmins, city officials are urging striking transit workers to return to the bargaining table. Transit workers have been walking the picket line for days now after rejecting the city's latest offer. The union says the city was leaving the service people behind. According to the city's website, its offer includes a base rate adjustment of 4.5% for drivers and 8% for mechanics. Tonight, in a statement, the city's CAO says it remains committed to reaching a final agreement that balances staff needs while being responsible to taxpayers. A report is heading to Sudbury Council next week recommending the electrification of some of the city's fleet, including Zambonis. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
Sudbury's greenhouse gas emissions could drop by approximately 620 tons over the next decade if, on Tuesday, Council agrees to a report recommending the electrification of some city fleet, including 146 light vehicles and 16 Zambonis. It's a part of the city's effort to reach its climate commitments.
Our city has a community energy and emissions plan, which is the plan for achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. And part of that plan is electrifying the city's fleet by 2035. And this fleet electrification plan does that.
One of the risks of the plan detailed in the report includes the changing political climate in the United States, where incentives for electric vehicle development have been pulled back. However, some in the industry say they aren't concerned and add while sales aren't quite on par with previous years, they are still up overall.
That's all kind of adding to this, uncertainty about where the industry is heading. But if you look at the global picture, the global perspective, EV is pretty much set as the next method of powertrain, right, for vehicles. Europe is exploding with it, other countries outside of North America. So I think it's only just a matter of time.
Longer ranges, better quality, multiple manufacturers, lots of selection available. So I think that, it's a slowdown, but I think it will continue.
The report says the switch to electric could cost $20.1 million over the next 10 years, compared to $16.8 to buy traditional vehicles. However, it says the difference could be made up through various government incentive programs and fuel costs, meaning the electric option could cost less in the long run. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
A biotech company behind a health diagnostic tool was the big winner at the Venture North pitch last night in Sudbury. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
A researcher at Myanmar Molecular analyzes a sample in the Sudbury lab. The diagnostic tool identifies biomarkers in urine to determine muscle degeneration.
That biomarker panel can point out specific things that you need to improve your nutrition, supplementation, and even exercise frequency and intensity.
Andrade has been working on the technology for the past 4 years after her older aunt passed away from complications connected to muscle loss. Right now, users send their samples into the lab for analysis, and results come in 7 days.
We want to be able to provide a very easy, accessible tool that people can use to understand their own muscle health and metabolism, but also get some information about what they can do to prevent chronic disease and stave off issues later in life.
Myanmar Molecular was one of 4 finalists at last night's Venture North pitch, an annual event organized by NORCAT and the Northern Ontario Angels. It won both awards, which totaled $15,000 in prize money. Organizers say investors see the future potential.
It's in the delivery of the pitch. It's the compelling story around it. It's the team she surrounded herself with. And I think that, people that are, taking drugs like Ozempic and other weight loss drugs can really benefit from this technology that they've developed to determine if they have muscle atrophy.
There's a lot of muscle loss associated with taking GLP-1s, and they're being able to provide people with information around their muscle health. But traction early on in the last few months, they're getting a lot of clinics on board. They've received quite a bit of investment, and they're expanding globally.
Myanmar Molecular plans to use the investment to continue developing its at-home rapid urine test that would provide immediate results. Those plans include expanding the market into the United States and Japan and growing the workforce, which Andrade says would remain in Sudbury. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The first phase of work on the $10 million Premier Road reconstruction in North Bay is wrapping up in a few weeks. The City of North Bay's new sidewalks and paving are complete from Fowler Street to Champlain Park, with sodding and driveway restoration now underway. This portion of the project is expected to be finished by the end of the month. Construction of a new sewage pumping station at the Lakeshore Drive end of Premier Road is scheduled for spring or summer 2026.
We're very happy to get that one part of the project done. We thank the other agencies, the federal and provincial, that jumped on board through ISIP to help us get that work done.
As part of the sewage pumping station work, Premier Road will also be restored and resurfaced from Lakeshore Drive to Fowler Street. Well, she is the highest grossing live music artist on the planet, and Taylor Swift's new album, Life of a Showgirl, came out last night at midnight.
Her name was Kitty. Made her money being pretty and witty. They gave her the keys to this city.
Following the album release, Party of a Showgirl is in theaters, where fans get the opportunity to watch the premiere of The Fate of Ophelia music video and behind-the-scenes footage. In Sudbury, some fans ran to the theater to watch their idol's new movie on its first day.
I'm here to see The Life of a Showgirl in theaters. I'm very excited. I've been a Swiftie for about 2 years now. I went to the Eras Tour in Edinburgh, Scotland last June. It was an extremely amazing experience. I loved it so much. And I just love Taylor so much. I think she's such an inspiration, and I love music, and she just brings me joy.
Fans say that Taylor Swift's music is made for all ages and all walks of life. Speaking of Swifties, time for now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we will check in with Rick, the world's biggest Taylor Swift fan, for your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current conditions. We've got clear skies over parts of it, a little bit of cloud cover. We've got a thunderstorm moving its way into Sault Ste. Marie. 18 degrees, still pretty warm out there at the moment. 16 in Parry Sound, 16 in North Bay, 9 in Timmins, the cool spot at the moment. We'll have details coming up in a moment.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
There's an old saying about October being the month of change when it comes to weather and, of course, just the basic scenery that we're so accustomed to from spring, summer, now the change in the fall. Weather's no exception. Here we go. Forecast radar for the weekend. It's varied somewhat from what we experienced yesterday and what I told you all about, but now we've got some rain in the forecast, a little bit of rain, some warmer temperatures, and of course we'll get into the aspect of, well, some white precipitation in one area in particular coming up in just a couple of days. Let's take a look at some of the numbers right now. Sudbury Nickel Belt, chance of showers tomorrow. Sunday, we've got sunshine at 26. Monday, chance of showers again at 22. The cool down begins 17 Tuesday, 11 Wednesday, and back up to 14 Thursday. That's slightly above normal for this time of the year. Now, Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of showers tomorrow at 30%. Some sunshine on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, we've got the chance of showers both days, but you'll notice a cooling trend, 18, 16, down to 11 by Wednesday, sun and cloud. Thursday, back up to 14, sun and cloud, and some of the overnight lows. Of course, 1 on Tuesday, only 3 by Wednesday next week. Here we go. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. I promised you change. It's coming. Chance of showers at 26 tomorrow, 29 Sunday with the sunshine. Monday, Tuesday, chance of showers 21 and 14. It's happening for the first time in a long time. Wednesday, we've got the chance of flurries. Yes, I said flurries. 9 degrees your high, -1 the low. Thursday, here we go with sun and cloud and 14 degrees. So already snow in the forecast. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of showers tomorrow 25. Sunday, sunshine. Monday, chance of showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, sun and cloud 17, 10, and 14, your expected highs. Now, North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers tomorrow 25. Here we go. Sunshine on Sunday. Monday, chance of showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, sun and cloud 18 and 11. 12 degrees your high on Thursday with the sunshine. Take a look at the overnight lows for North Bay, West Nipissing. 1 on Tuesday, -1 Wednesday. Then it gets a bit warmer Thursday and Friday. So Ian Campbell, a little bit of change. That nasty 4-letter word snow has crept into the forecast for Timmins. At least a 40% chance of flurries by next Wednesday. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. And this just into CTV News in the last couple of minutes or so. We've been given an update on that search for an armed and dangerous person in the Temiskaming-Latchford areas. A significant police presence remains in the area, and Highway 11 at this hour is still closed. Police now have released a description of the person they are looking for. He's described as male, a medium build, approximately 180 centimeters or 6 feet tall, with blue eyes, and he was last seen wearing a light beige or gray Tilly-style hat, dark brown clothing, and carrying a military-style hatch backpack or hatch or something on his back. If you see someone matching this description, call 911 immediately. Again, we are continuing to follow this story. This person is considered armed and dangerous, and we'll bring you more information in our newscasts and online as it develops. Well, the first week of October is recognized as Ontario Cadets Week. This year, politicians and cadets gathered at Tom Davies Square in Sudbury to kick it off. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
In 2022, Bill 45 proclaimed that the 1st to the 7th of October is officially recognized as Ontario Cadets Week.
This year, they decided for all of Ontario to do the grand opening of Cadet Week here in Sudbury, which is pretty cool.
The Sudbury launch began this week with the raising of the flag, which officials hopes brings more attention to the program.
It's an awesome program, and unfortunately, it's very not well known. So that's one of the reasons that I've been really adamant on trying to get the knowledge out there of what the cadet program is.
It's not 1 week, it's 52 weeks of the year that the women and men of the Cadet League and the cadet leagues across our province are working with young people and those volunteers.
Another celebration brought pride to the program, as 50 years ago, girls and women were accepted into cadet programs.
First women, young girls who showed that will and that resilience to participate in a program and initiative that was near and dear to them is especially important, and the impact that has had not only on the cadet program but on communities across Canada, on the Canadian Armed Forces, is astounding.
Tomorrow, the cadets will be marching from the Armory at 1 o'clock in celebration of the provincially recognized week. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Border traffic in Sault Ste. Marie continues to dwarf in comparison to previous years. The latest statistics from the International Bridge Administration show fewer crossings in September compared to the same month last year. Last month saw over 80,000 total one-way crossings. That's almost 28,000 fewer crossings than September of 2024. The largest deficit was seen in the most common travelers, full-fare passenger cars, which were down almost 30%. Year-to-date traffic is at about 24% fewer crossings. The mayors of several cities are leading an effort to convince Premier Doug Ford to change course on his plan to ban speed cameras. Burlington Mayor Marianne Mead Ward and Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown have written a letter to Ford with the support of 20 other mayors. They argue a total ban on the cameras would reverse years of progress on safety in school zones. They're asking Ford to allow speed cameras to still be deployed near schools, but with a number of added measures. These include using a reasonable threshold of speed before a ticket is issued and sending a warning for a first offense. The only northern mayor to sign was Parry Sound's Jamie McGarvey. Well, mining giant Vale announcing today its annual aerial seeding program is set to start up next week in Greater Sudbury. From October 6th to the 13th, provided the weather cooperates, seeds will be dropped in areas of the city that are barren. This is part of the mining company's efforts to support ecological restoration in Greater Sudbury. This year, Vale is using helicopters which will depart from Coniston and will distribute a mixture of agricultural, limestone, grass, seed, and fertilizer. There are growing concerns about fires related to lithium-ion batteries, concerns North Bay fire officials will be talking about during Fire Prevention Week starting Monday. This year's Fire Prevention Week theme targets the batteries that are found in everyday items. Lithium-ion batteries are in electric scooters, cell phones, even electric toothbrushes. The North Bay Fire Department is stressing safe charging and unplugging of products when they reach a full battery. Fires related to lithium-ion batteries are considered fast, violent, explosive, and very difficult to extinguish.
Only use the charging block and cord that came with the device. Once you've charged your battery and it's 100%, unplug the device. Don't overcharge the battery. What we see sometimes is people will put the phone on charge, so they'll have a phone under the pillow. So don't charge a device under your pillow, on your bed, or on a couch. Place it on a hard surface to allow airflow around the device.
Chief Whiteley encourages people to only buy products that have the tested Canadian Standards Association logo on them. Well, still ahead tonight on CTV News. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Ramsey Lake was awash with witches in Sudbury earlier this evening. We'll explain after this. A very busy night over in the OHL for our northern teams, including a Battle of the North right here in Sudbury between the Wolves and the Battalion.
To the point, Harper steps in, Moses with the shot, and it's a flutter that goes.
And what a welcome back to the troops for Shamar Moses, who was able to find the back of the net. Moses returning to the Gateway City after a short stint down in Barrie. North Bay goes on to outshoot and outscore Sudbury, taking this one by a score of 3-1. Ryder Callie and Liam Amidovsky both adding to North Bay's total, while Blake Clayton was the lone Wolves goal. Meantime, Sault Ste. Marie made it down to Brampton tonight, where they just had a tough night against the Steelheads. The Hounds fall to the hometown team by a score of 5-0. Over in the NOJHL, Kirkland Lake and the Voodoo duke it out over in Powassan, taking the game into overtime, but it was the visitors, Kirkland Lake, who come out on top 3-2. The Horse Lumberjacks make quick work of the Timmins Rock, sending them home with a 7-2 loss. Heading over to Noelville, where the French River Rapids now have their first win of the season. They beat the visiting Sioux Michigan Eagles in overtime by a score of 3-2, and the Iroquois Falls Storm come out on top over the Espanola Paper Kings by a score of 5-4. The Sudbury Breastfeeding Challenge is returning this Sunday. Advocates say it's an opportunity to support the hard work, sacrifice, and accomplishment of all moms and families. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Building on the success of last year's event.
It was the first one that had been done in over 5 years. So we really had low expectations, but we ended up having 35 women come out to support the event. We had 13 women that latched on with their babies, whether that was latching on to the breast or onto the bottle with exclusively pumped milk.
The challenge will precede the annual Sudbury Community Midwives Reunion Picnic this year in hopes of drawing even more participants.
It just seemed to be a nice segue and to alleviate some of the financial burden. So we're hoping that people that don't have midwives feel comfortable coming.
Crowder has worked as a midwife in the community for over 25 years, and she says while influence has changed over the years, it continues to have an impact on women's ability to successfully breastfeed.
The generation that was having babies 25 years ago, their parents were from a very formula, so there was a lot of education to grandparents around like how to support and what's normal. Now we're seeing a lot of like online, how many ounces can you collect and how many pumps do you own and how many so I feel like some of that really feeds into the inadequacy feelings that a lot of new parents have.
The OHIP-funded breastfeeding clinic that opened at the Midwife Clinic almost 2 years ago has made a huge impact. But Crowder says they only received 50% of the government funding needed, so they only operate 2 to 3 days a week.
What we felt was important was for families to have support that was more convenient for them than, let's say, the health unit hours, and that they didn't have to pay for it, because it should be a right that you have support to help feed your baby.
We need to have more government funded supports. We need to have more supports in the hospital and immediately after birth. We have to do better for our breastfeeding moms in our community.
According to the 2022 Canadian Community Health Survey, 38% of parents exclusively breastfed for at least 6 months. Global targets aim to increase the rate of 6 months breastfeeding exclusively to at least 50% by 2025 and up to 70% by 2030. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Lively.
Finally for us tonight, some witches and warlocks traded in their brooms for paddles in Sudbury. These paddlers came out in costume to head out on Ramsey Lake either on paddle boards and kayaks or canoes for the 3rd annual event. The group paddled to Science North and back before enjoying Halloween treats, music, and other activities. The Witches and Warlock paddle raises money for the Sudbury Food Bank, but organizers say it's a fun way to close out the paddling season.
We decided to team up with the food bank, especially with this significance of the scarcity of the food this year. And I love to do everything with some kind of charity involved. And I just wanted to, end the year off well. This year I had a shoulder injury, so I wasn't able to get out on the lake as much as I wanted to. So I threw in everything this year, the photo booth, my DJ equipment, just the whole 9 yards, because I just wanted this community event just to go out with a bang and just everybody to have a great time.
Looks like they did. At the end of this month, the Northern Water Sports Center will be removing its docks for winter. Well, that takes us to the end of our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we leave you with some of that witchy fun on Ramsey Lake. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Monday. Good night.